Welcome to Suladan Plays Smudged. You find yourself in an unfamiliar maze of houses and alleyways. Nervously, you fumble at a door handle only to find that it's paper thin. In fact, everything feels unnaturally thin and dry to the touch. Are you dreaming? Suddenly, you hear heavy footsteps. Feeling an inexplicable sense of dread, you frantically sprint away and race around a corner. As you try to catch your breath, you can't help but notice a scrap of paper with a single letter printed on it. The sight of the letter gives you a sudden sense of déjà vu, and slowly you begin to remember how you got here. Maybe you can solve the mystery of this place and escape. If you get scared, don't worry. There's a dedicated button for screaming. I'm going to be honest, that last line makes me think of Space Station 13 because there is a dedicated button for screaming. There's a dedicated button for a lot of stuff there shouldn't be dedicated buttons for, but there's a dedicated button for screaming. No, look, scream. I would have probably downed the music volume a little bit, but I don't want to down the game volume. I mean, reduce it, not insult it. Let's try this again. Oh, it said arrow keys to move, didn't it? It did. Excuse me for being think of WASD exist. Oh my dear. Oh my, I'm sorry, I haven't seen a game that worked with controls like this since like Windows 98 era. Well, shift doesn't seem to do much. What's on the ground? Oh, I'm leaving breadcrumb trails. Also, you hold down the button to move. Not a big fan of the control style. I mean, it's new. Cavrase. I should say it's a fascinating control style. It's just not something I'm used to. And I need to get the mouse cursor out. It is fascinating by sheer virtue of being something I haven't seen in a while. H. Hi. The sprint button doesn't always seem to want to work either. I would have just gone with mouse to left, right, and all if it was me. But, you know, that's just me. Oh good, I don't know where they're at anymore. That's good. I'm gonna go this way, because I hear sounds that I shouldn't hear, and I don't want to hold still for too long. Oh, hi. Bye. Why are you not sprinting anymore? T-H-E-E. And yes, they clip off the screen. That's not just the recording. Oh, plague doctor with many fly-like our limbs. I see. I mean, there's a wing buzzing sound. I assume that is pertinent to his existence. Well, that direction is blocked off. So what happens if I trap myself into... Will you sprint for the love of all that is holy? If you're gonna have a limited sprint, you're gonna want to have some sort of in-game thingum to tell the player, that their sprint is limited and how much of it they have. I guess I'm just gonna have to start saving my sprint. Also, that is way too good of a mosquito sound. It, like, I live in the South where we've got lots of mosquitoes, and that sound is making me want to, like, stop and start looking around for mosquitoes. It's very well done. Oh, well, this... I didn't think that was going to startle me, but it did. You're ominous looking. Oh, good gracious! Okay, well you were not where I thought you'd be. To the tee! Excuse me. Pursue me not, foul demons. It's like reverse Pac-Man. I just want to walk diagonally. Is that so wrong, world? What? I know what the word is now, but I'm very confused by what I just saw. Did I fall through a hole in reality? Have I peeled back the illusion? I should be running. It's the end, obviously. I would have been lost had I not, you know, already seen the D. The D is what confirmed my suspicion that was not yet existence of enough to be a suspicion. I need to stop sprinting because I need to save it because I'm going to need it. But if I stop sprinting... Yes, you go that way. Exactly. Oh. Excuse me. Don't do that. Don't do that. Okay, let's try this again. It is... The game is doing a very good job at capturing that. It's not as much a random jump scare in that you do see it coming, but you only see it coming for that fragment of a second. So it's hard to pin down an exact... Aha, you can't figure out how to get me. You can't go diagonally either! It's hard to pin down an exact word for the sensation, but it's basically that moment that you realize that you're doomed. But there's still a split second between it, you realizing it and it actually happening, so there's a... I don't know, it's a weird sensation that I've never found a word for. It's like in a game... Why did you go forward? It is similar... well, I'm dead. Well, we knew that one was coming. It is similar to the tension that I have seen in... I'm trying to avoid using a League of Legends example, but it's the best example I've got. Okay. Well... yeah, just cut this section. It is similar to the sensation that I have seen in a game where a character had a sticky bomb that they could place on another character. Normally, it's not that big of a threat, but if your health was low enough that you knew it was going to kill you, there is a sense of tension that it produced because you knew you were going to die and there was nothing you could do to stop it, but you just didn't know when. That is very similar to that split second in this game where you see it and you barely have enough time to even mentally register it. I guess you're supposed to get this one last. Well, you just barely have enough time to register the occurrence before it's too late. Isn't it funny how the first time I found all the letters except the one? That was a very nice usage of having certain parts of the maze be a different color. That's very helpful. I've seen a lot of games that have maze aspects that don't do that. And the entire map looks so much the same that it can be frustrating because the player then has no way to know where they've been. Also, the breadcrumb trail is a nice touch. As is having the different entities have, you know, their own unique sound effects. There you are. The end. To my understanding, hard mode is more of the same, but sure, we'll try it. I'm gonna assume it's more of the same. They're probably faster or smarter. So whether or not we... Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Excuse me. That wall ain't supposed to be there. Oh, I see how it's gonna be. I don't know if they're faster or not. I don't want to hold still long enough to stay. Okay. I don't want to hold still long enough to find out. We're home free. Home free. Home free. Ineluctables. To Google Translate! One, it's apparently an English word, so I thought it would have been Latin. Not to be avoided or escaped. Inevitable. Inevitability. I noticed that the characters here look similar to the contorted skeleton, the fly, the bear suit. So does that mean that we were the fourth? Is it saying family is unavoidable or death is unavoidable? I am confused and I don't necessarily understand the meaning of the game. I don't know. Anyway, I'm very fascinated by this. I just don't understand quite what the game is saying. My theory as I played the game was that our character was, you know, a storybook character and their fear was the end because when they found those words, it meant their story was over. But then the picture at the end of the game makes me wonder... Okay, the layout was like a the outside of a house, but... And the monsters that were chasing us matched the people in the family photo, so... Yeah, I don't know. Fascinating game, very interesting. Don't really understand what what's going on, but it's still pretty fun and interesting. I think a little could be done to polish it by, if I have a limited sprint, putting some form of heads-up display to notify me of its charge and whatnot. But I don't know. I guess just save your sprint for, when you need it. Generally, any game that has limited sprint, I'm just a fan of having some sort of user element to let me know how much sprint I have left. I got kind of a Pac-Man vibe off of the game. I mean, it does remind me of it. You're going through a maze looking for certain, notes instead of power pellets, and you're never in a situation where you're chasing them. Perhaps sprint could be a limited resource that you only reobtain by getting the notes. I don't know. It's a fascinating game. I would love to understand more of what the story or background of this is, but I just do not know what to recommend. It's a beautiful game. Very interesting art style, and the controls, while a little clumsy at first, I got used to them. I personally... I like the old style because that's how the old maze games would work, which you were locked into any of the 4 directions, and it's kind of like there was an old screensaver that followed that same style. I like the ability to turn 360 degrees, so that's what I would have gone with, but that wouldn't have fit the style and theme of the game. So it did a very good job at capturing that old maze game feel. As someone who's been around since some of those things, yeah, it did a very good job at capturing that, but with a more high-resolution take on the matter. I'm just so curious about the different entities and creatures and the art behind this game and what it's trying to convey. It is on itch.io. There is a link in the description. If you understood it more than I did, feel free to leave a comment. If you'd like to support the channel, there's the Patreon, link in the description and channel banner. There's a link to the Discord server and the channel banner in the description if you want to join there. There's also a link to the Twitter in said locations. But in any case, I'm going to go ahead and pause here. Thank you for watching, and I will see you on the next game.